extreme detail.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome into the SU Football Weekly Coaches Show with head coach Joe Austin. I'm Brad Tillery here at the Sheridan in Georgetown. And, Coach, well, glad to have you along on this Thursday night.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Let's quickly let's recap last week. You know, a tough loss. The number one team in the country came into town, picked up a 33-3 victory over you guys. It was Mary Hardin-Baylor. But I'll tell you what, I thought you guys looked really good, especially on defense. Your football team really bowed up and kept a dynamic offense, the number 2 ranked offense in the country. They had a hard time moving the ball.
Our defense did a great job, and of course, there's lots of improvements over what had happened the year before, as far as the margin of the victory and the success we had. Our defense did a really good job, and of course, you have to put that in context of the fact that we're short some players.
Yeah.
We started the season, for example, with 19 linebackers. We're down to 8, so we've lost 11 linebackers along the way, and that's difficult. So when you put all those things together to hold the number 2 scoring offense in the country, to their fewest rushing yards this season, their fewest yards per reception, or yards per rush, their fewest total yards, by far the most punts that anyone's forced them to the whole season, that's an exciting thing. So there's lots of things to build on, and I think one of the things that I liked was our team is consistently now coming with just really good energy, and they're just ready to play and ready to get after it. And we're not looking at scoreboard, and that's because the scoreboard is only relevant at the end of the game. So they had a great approach to the game.
What was your message at halftime? Because I thought the team came out with a fire in them after the half, came out, really took control of that game for quite a while, kicked the field goal, seemingly got off the field, unfortunately, the fumble on the kick. But you know, they really came out and played hard in that second half despite being down 19-0 at halftime.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot that had to be said. I think for some of our players, it was the first time they were playing the number 1 team in the country. Mm-hmm. So they went in a few of them went into the game a little bit hesitant, what's going to happen, and they forced us into some early mistakes on both offense and defense. I think by halftime, that had all settled down. They had a really good feel for who they were playing and what their talent level was. And I think our guys actually felt like, okay, we can do this. We can hang in with these guys. It's going to be a challenge. And then, as you said, we came out and had our best drive in the beginning of the third period, put points on the board, and we were able to finish out holding them to just 2 scores in the second half. And it was a really good overall team output. And, of course, you have to be a believer in moral victories to believe that. But I believe in moral victories, especially when you're a team that has as many injuries as we've had. I think there were a lot of moral victories, a lot of good things you can look to and put that game into context and think it was a pretty decent performance.
As you continue to build this program, that's a measuring stick program that you played this past week. They've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. They haven't lost in the regular season in a few years. Where do you think you are as a program now as you look at that measuring stick game against Mary Hardin-Baylor?
Well, we're 4 touchdowns behind them. That's where we
Fair
are,
enough.
And we've played Hardin-Simmons the last couple of years, and we've been 2 touchdowns behind those guys. And this year with Mary Hardin-Baylor, we're 4 touchdowns behind those guys, and those are, as you said, very real measuring sticks, and 2 of the top programs in the nation, and 2 of the programs that, I know our guys look at it that way, is where are we at compared to those guys, and that's the report card. We played the number 1 team, and we're 4 touchdowns behind them.
You've mentioned the injuries and everything that's really depleted the team at times this year. You're on quarterback number 4, I believe, at different times during when the JJ's out there.
We've had 5.
5. Sorry,
5 different quarterbacks have played it. 5 different quarterbacks have played at least a half of football for us. Yeah,
how do you adjust to that? You mentioned how much linebacker depth has already been depleted. Same goes in the defensive backfield. Some losses back there. The defensive line, defensively, is about the only thing that's stayed fully healthy all year.
Well, at the quarterback position, it's a lot about preparation, and Coleman Kerr is on tonight, who's played a lot of football for us and done a great job this season. And if you'd like to follow up, you certainly can ask him. But they spent a lot of time in the meeting room with me. And so I think that group goes in as well prepared from a mental standpoint and as far as being able to see ahead of time what's going to happen, to try to let the game be slow and for allow them to process the amount of complex mental information you have to process to play quarterback. So we rely on our preparation, and we prepare in the meeting room, whether you're the first guy up this weekend or the guy that's maybe not even traveling this weekend. They go through the same process. I ask them the same questions in meetings. They draw the same things on chalkboards, and I think that's allowed us to go, unfortunately, from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, and to all have them to have varying degrees of success, because they're going in with a pretty good idea of what they're up against.
And what was your message throughout the week, this week, bouncing off the loss, knowing that you got to refocus, get ready for McMurray this coming Saturday?
Well, McMurray's a team that's playing better. They had a great game last week. They went up to East Texas Baptist and only lost by 2 points. And so they're gaining confidence. And as you watch their game sequentially, you can see them getting better throughout the season. So the message from Sunday on was go up and have a great start, so that they get the message that this isn't their week. They're still getting better, but this is our week and we came to play. And I think we will, because we've had really great approaches to our last 3 games. And I think that's a big key to our success going forward, is if we can come with energy from the start and set the tone in all phases of the game, I think we'll be in good shape.
Seems like just yesterday you and I were on the practice field already. We're 6 weeks through the season. You got 4 left to go. You try to refocus for these final 4 games. Still some big ones out there in front of you. You target, what do you want to see out of this ball club moving forward?
Our focus is always constant improvement. And we're in that phase, whether we had all the starters that we thought we'd have or whether we have a lot of new guys as we have on defense now. We're trying to get better every day. We're trying to get better at the mental approach, the physical approach. We're trying to get better with our alignment, assignment, and technique, are things that coaches are always looking for. And that's where we are, but that's never going to change. If you ask me that next year, you're going to get the same answer. If you'd asked me that after the first week when we were fairly healthy, you'd have gotten the same answer then. So we're pretty consistent, I think, in that messaging. We want to get better all the time. And you can see that has translated through our football teams. The last 3 years, we're 5-0, 4-1, and 4-1 in the second half of our seasons. So if we can continue to get better all the time, and then I think we have a good chance to have another really good second half to the season.
Well, Coach, we'll talk a little more about McMurray later on in the show. First, we're going to step aside, and when we come back, we'll have quarterback Coleman Kerr here on the broadcast with us. This is SU Football Weekly with head coach Joe Austin. Please stick around. Well, back here with SU Football Weekly with head coach Joe Austin, but he'll be back in just a little bit to preview the McMurray game this coming Saturday. Joining me now, sophomore quarterback Coleman Kerr. Coleman, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
So, Coleman, you're a major in business. We'll get into your academic pursuits here in a little bit. First, though, I want to talk about the unique season that you've had. You started this past Saturday against Mary Hardin Baylor. But earlier this year against Louisiana College, you literally found out 2 days before the game that you were going to start. How do you adjust to that? What's that preparation like?
Yes, sir. Kind of piggyback off what Coach Austin said. One thing I've learned this season that all the quarterbacks have learned this season is that you need to prepare like you're the starter. I think going into the Sewanee game, I knew I was be second string. I probably I didn't prepare as well as I should have. So I learned my lesson. Thank goodness I started to prepare like a starter the second week because Coach Austin texted me on Thursday, and I was ready to go.
You played a great game that day, too, a 50-3 win that you led the ball club to. Unfortunately, got injured a little bit later. Able to come back, though, last week against Mary Hardin-Baylor. What was it like working your way back through the injury?
Different. Like I said, I still try to prepare like you normally do because you don't want to lose any bad habits any of the habits you had. So I was really just focused on my ankle, trying to get it back. Yeah, it was different, but I'm ready to go.
Tell me about last week. You guys went up against the number one team in the country. With Coach Austin and I already talked about it, but what's it like being down there in the trenches? You got those guys coming at you. Your team's down there fighting hard. What was your perspective on the field?
Oh, I loved it. I love getting to play those guys. They're the best team in the country. We all knew that. I enjoy the challenge.
You got game coming up this week, obviously, at McMurray. What do you see coming into that game as far as things to attack and how to be aggressive and come out with a victory this Saturday in Abilene?
Yeah, we did a lot of good things last weekend. I think that can carry over this week. Our offense is going to try to attack from minute one, like Coach Austin's been telling us this week. Put it on them real quick. They're a new program, one that's looking for a win. It's not going to be us.
All right, so let's have a little fun because I don't know, folks, if you've never traveled on a bus to a game, it's interesting when you're out there with guys. What's it like for you? Like, do you get the two-seater? Do you have to share seats? There's always a hierarchy on the bus.
Yeah, the one-seaters go to the linemen. They get their own row, rightfully. All the rest of us are with a buddy, and I don't mind that. I like talking to whoever I'm with, listening to music, preparing a little bit. It's always fun on the bus. I like bus rides. That's what football's about to me. Camaraderie.
What's in the musical selection?
Everything for me, country, rap, everything.
You got to go to though. There's got to be a go-to mix list for pregame, right?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
True, yeah.
So you're from Leakey, Texas. Tell us about your high school playing days. What it was like playing football down there.
I had an interesting high school experience, probably unlike any other player on our team. I graduated with 15 people in my class. So the question every year was, are we going to have a football team? Playing both ways, of course. But I love it. It's like small-town football, classic small-town football. The whole town's there on Friday nights. Not a single person's in the city.
So what was the other position you played if you played both ways?
Up till my senior year, I played safety. And then my senior year, I played a little more linebacker, rover position because I was one of the bigger guys on the team, which is surprising, I know. But
You're majoring in business. We talked earlier. You said you want to go into sports management. What led you to that?
Just my love for sports, really. I know this is playing will end in college, but I don't want to get away from sports. And yeah.
Well, you got a couple of siblings. Tell me about them.
My sister Kaylin, my brother Gideon. My sister is 17. My brother is 10. They're great. Kaylin's awesome. She plays golf. She's a 2-time state qualifier in golf. She's really good.
So how many strokes is she giving you on the course then? That's the question.
She's way better than I
am. You talk about your role now. You've been thrust into that starting quarterback position. What's it like going from the backup to the starter and that leadership aspect that has to come with it?
Yeah, I figured that I would be kind of pushed into a more of a leadership role this year with, just being the oldest quarterbacks on our team, our sophomores. So me and Austin I thought did a pretty good job of being there as leaders. And, I enjoy being with my team and having to not, a sophomore is not going to boss around a senior, but they definitely it's fun being able to tell them, just be there for them.
You've been seeing tape. You've been getting a lot of playing time this year. Where do you feel like you can improve your game moving into the last 4 games this year and even into next season?
Probably my run game. I mean, I think I was an okay runner before I got hurt, and now I'm trying to get that back slowly. That's probably what I'm going to work on the most.
And then what's it mean for you to put on that black jersey every week and to be a Pirate?
I love it, man. It's the best decision I ever made. Thing about D3 football is that we all love to play football. None of us are getting paid here. Every week we come out because we love the game.
What went into that decision for you?
I just want to play football still.
Fair enough.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
any shout-outs you want to give while we got you here before we let you go, Coleman?
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Love y'all.
Coleman Kerr, thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Quarterback for your Southwestern Pirates. He'll be on the field this coming Saturday at McMurray up in Abilene. We'll look forward to seeing you play then, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a minute. Round of applause here for Coleman. Back in just a minute with more of SU Football Weekly with cornerback Jackson Reese. Going to join us here in just a second. Stay tuned. Well, back here at the Sheraton in Georgetown, Texas, as we continue on with SU Football Weekly, want to welcome into the broadcast Jackson Reese, sophomore cornerback. How you doing, Jackson?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Big round of applause from the crowd here for Jackson. Jackson, you're from Missouri City, Texas, St. Thomas Catholic High School. Tell me about your experience growing up, man.
I had a pretty cool experience. I mean, the average kid, one sibling, my brother Josh, he used to, make fun of me as a kid and stuff, but you know what I'm saying, this whatever.
You didn't have a 15-man football team like Coleman, though.
Oh, no. No, I mean, we didn't have that many kids, though. I had a private school, so, it was about, I would say, maybe 60 kids on the team. But that's just through, freshmen all the way up to varsity, though.
And you said you had one sibling. Tell me more about.
Oh, well, Joshua, he wasn't a football player like that. He focused on basketball in high school. I can still give him a few buckets here and there. but he's a nice athlete, though. Yeah.
All right, Josh, that sounds like a challenge next time you're home, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's on go anytime.
Fair enough.
He knows that, though.
All I could do was rebound. I could do nothing else when I played. So tell me about it. You're playing a cornerback now. You guys, you've gotten a little thin back there on defense. How have you adjusted to the injuries? And you've been playing some great football back there, making a bunch of tackles. You guys, especially in the defensive backfield, been asked to step up and make a few more tackles this year than maybe you thought you would have to.
Right. We've been playing a lot of Tampa, but really, Coach Creasel has been putting us all in the right spots and positions. I mean, a lot of people on our defense have been moving around because of injuries and stuff, but because of Coach Creasel, he's going to put us in the right spot at all times.
So I saw one of you guys' practice earlier this year. It was in the heat. I think it was right before the Louisiana College game. Super hot. And you guys do a pace drill every week, right?
Yes, sir.
Walk the crowd through that. What's that like, and how does that tax you guys as players?
Oh, I mean, Coach Austin gonna get us right with that, but it's very tiring. I'm gonna be honest. Last year, I really was struggling with it, but this year, in the off season, I was really working to try to be in the front with Minnie, the corner. So yeah.
How do you prepare the new players for that, though?
Oh, I mean, it's really no preparation. It's just you're gonna have to get it and grind, honestly.
this season been like for you? You know, you've been out there on the field a lot. You've been contributing to this defense. You guys have been stellar. I thought this past week, especially against Mary Hardin Baylor, y'all held one of the best offenses in the country really down. They struggled to move the ball. Like, what does that make you guys? How are you going to build on that? And for you specifically, how have you seen your game rise?
I honestly, when we play Mary Hardin Baylor, it's like we know we're playing against the best. So it's like you bring our A game, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to see the defense. We are some super. I feel like we have some studs on our team, but we play really fast, and I was really proud to see us play like that when we play them. I didn't know how the game was going to turn out, but I was glad to see the defense fly around like that.
Yeah, we were saying in the booth, actually, during the broadcast the entire day how impressed we were with the way the defense really held a powerful offense down and kept the team in the game, you know, throughout the broadcast and throughout the day last Saturday. You guys, coming up this week, you got a McMurray team that's playing better football. You go on the road, the 3-hour drive coming up. How are you preparing for this game this Saturday?
Well, they're no Mary Hardin Baylor, but we still have to treat them like they're still the number one team, honestly. We're not trying to play lower to our competition. We're trying to stay where we were last week. So,
tell me about your pregame routine. What's it like? We were talking with Coleman a little bit earlier. What are you doing before kickoff?
I would say just jamming some tunes. I listen to a lot of rap, honestly.
Okay.
So just to get my blood flowing.
So who's on it though? If you're listening to the rap, who's it going to be?
It's a lot of different artists. I like Lil Wayne,
Okay.
Young Thug. I would say Roddy Ricch.
Okay. All right. And then your routine, you get to the stadium, you wake up, you know, what time are you guys getting up every day for a game? You got a 1 o'clock kickoff, so it's pretty standard most weeks once you get past September. Take me through your game day. What's that like?
I think we have to be in the field house about 9 o'clock, so I'll wake up about 8, you know, do my morning routine and just be in the field house for pregame meal. And then so once I get to the field house, I eat, chill, put the headphones in, relax. We got college football on the TV in the locker rooms, and we're just chilling, being a family.
Tell me about it's something I like to ask guys, because some guys say I love playing at home. Some guys say, you know what, I love going on the road and winning in front of other people's fans and coming back on that bus with the team in the victory. What's it like for you?
To me, it's nothing like the home games, honestly, because I feel like I'm less stressed. I wake up, get out of my bed, go to the field house, you know, ride the bus to the stadium, put the headphones in, get in my zone, ball in front of the fans, and then just go back home and chill with the team later tonight. And I don't know, I just really don't like the bus that much, but
I don't know many people that do.
Yeah. So
Jackson, your biggest adjustment to college life, coming from high school, either football or just life in general, because it's the first time you're kind of out on your own, right?
Right. So that's no mom. So that's tough. But honestly, it's just being responsible. I mean, I always have my parents, you know, calling me, checking up on me and stuff, making sure I'm on top of my books and everything I need to do. So with them being there, it really helps a lot.
Speaking of books, you're majoring in business, minoring in architecture.
Right.
Why? What led you to that for a field that you're going to choose to go into after your playing career?
Well, growing up, I always had a business-like mindset. But so my dad is an engineer, and he told me, like, that construction management, it's like a pretty open, like, I guess, area, and it's a lot of opportunity, and I like money too, so.
I love the honesty.
Right.
Where are you wanting to go back home and do that, or you want to do it somewhere else?
I feel like my plan is to go back home and do it, but if I have to go off, I can do that too.
Okay. And then you're a Texans fan. You and I talked about this earlier.
Yes.
What are you liking about your Texans so far this year?
I mean, they beat the Chiefs. Y'all saw that, so y'all know what we can do. I wish we just don't play down to our competition and just, you know, stay up like how we played the Chiefs, just like how we play UMHB. Just stay at that level, and we're going to be able to beat everybody. Deshaun
Watson, he seems like he's growing every year down there, too.
Oh, he's getting better for sure. We just honestly just need a better O-line, and then you could really see him shine.
So you can either go to construction management or he's going to be a color commentator on a broadcast. That's what I'm hearing at some point down the road here for Jackson.
Maybe so.
Jackson, we get ready we talked a little bit about this McMurray game. What have you guys in the film room defensively really focused in on this week and trying to key in on ready for this McMurray Warhawk team?
honestly, we're just gonna make sure we do our jobs. We're not changing too much of the defense. We're gonna do the same stuff, honestly. So, for the cornerbacks, we're focusing on number 1 and number 3. Once we get them out the game, it should be easy.
Okay. Well, Jackson, final thing, shout-outs, anybody you want to say hello to while you're here on the air?
Just hated my mom and dad and Josh and my family.
Everybody back in Missouri City, be proud.
Yes, sir.
Jackson Reese, thank you so much for joining us. Sophomore cornerback for your Pirates here on the SU Weekly Football. Round of applause. Glad to have you along, and we appreciate you stopping by, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back in just a minute. First of all, before we do come back with Coach Joe Austin, want to thank some of our proud sponsors here for SU Football Weekly. As I look down, I apologize, but it's a long list, folks, and I'm not going to memorize it all. I apologize for that. Want to thank Gary Brown, CPA, John F. Lewis, CPA, State Farm, and Stephanie Featherstone of State Farm, BBVA Bank, First Texas Bank, R Bank, Texel Credit Union, Don Hewlett Chevrolet Buick, Antioch of Georgetown Church. Want to thank Groove Line Productions, a DJ service here in Georgetown. Also want to thank Boomtown Escapes, Primerica Financial Solutions, Upstream Investment Partners, Stanzecki's, Georgetown Shirt Company, HEB, Family Emergency Room. Want to thank St. David's of Georgetown, Eagles Wings, Sheraton Austin Georgetown Hotel and Conference Center, where we are right now, and they host the SU Football Show every single week. Thank you right here. Georgetown Palace Theater. Also want to thank our friends at Chisholm Trail Pediatrics, Minuteman Press and Waterboy Graphics, Berkshire Hathaway, Georgetown Commercial Properties, Turnip Seed Real Estate Group, Chick-fil-A, Double Dave's Pizza, Mama Foo's, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Monument Cafe, Rudy's, Schlotsky's, Whataburger, CJ's Catering and CJ's Sports Bar, Wolf Ranch, Georgetown Title, Hello Georgetown, Website Mojo, the web services here, and as well as the City of Georgetown. Thank you to all of our great sponsors for making Southwestern University football possible, and this coach's show as well. We're going to step aside one more time. When we come back, final thoughts from Coach Austin as we get set for this big ball game Saturday afternoon in Abilene as the Pirates head up to take on the McMurray Warhawks. Back in just a minute. Stick around for more SU Football Weekly here on SHN Sports. Well, back here at the Sheraton Hotel and Conference Center in Georgetown, Brad Tillery here on SHN Sports with you for SU Football Weekly. Before we bring in Coach Austin for one final look at McMurray this week, want to go through Southwestern University's sports recap, tell you everything going around Southwestern University Athletic Department and some of the great accomplishments happening there. First of all, the Pirates volleyball sophomore Lauren Crabtree named the SCAC Offensive Player of the Week for the week of October 14th through the 20th. Lauren Crabtree showcased to the full extent her all-around game, averaging a triple-double through 4 matches with 10 kills, 15 and a quarter digs, and 25 and a half assists per match, accomplishing the feat twice in wins over Dallas and Schreiner. And Southwestern resumes conference play this weekend with 4 matches facing St. Thomas and Austin College on Saturday at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., and then JWU coming down from Denver and number 8 Trinity at 4 p.m. All that this weekend here in Georgetown. Also, the Southwestern women's soccer team celebrated their seniors and grabbed another Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference win over Schreiner University as they beat the Mountaineers this past Sunday by a score of 2-0. The 5 seniors who were celebrated were Romy Reyna, Mary Cardone, Alexis Barentines, Katie Uten, and Mallory Harkins. So congratulations to them as they finish up their career with the Pirates. They're 11-4 overall, 3-2 in conference play. And up next, the Pirates travel to take on Texas Lutheran and Concordia University of Texas next Friday and Sunday. So be on the lookout there this weekend for Southwestern soccer. On the men's soccer side, it's senior day. Senior forward Dejan Savic left a lasting final impression on the Southwestern University home crowd, scoring the first goal of the match in a 3-1 victory over Schreiner University this past week. With the win, the Pirates now 9-4-2 on the season, including a 3-2-1 mark in conference play. They sit 5th in the conference standings. Southwestern will return to action Friday, October 25th. That is tomorrow at 7 o'clock, a road match against Trinity. And then the Bulldogs are currently 3rd in the SCAC with a 4-2 conference record, so Southwestern with a chance to climb the standings with that victory tomorrow. For more information on athletics around Southwestern, make sure you check us on the website. Visit southwesternpirates.com. That's southwesternpirates.com to find out all the action going around Southwestern University athletics over the next week and few months. Support all your athletics programs at Southwestern. It really means everything to this entire university. We're going to step aside one more time. We come back. Joe Austin, the head coach, going to join us one final time as we look ahead to the game against McMurray this Saturday up in Abilene. Stick around. Back in just a minute with SU Football Weekly. Well, back here for our final segment of SU Football Weekly. Coach Joe Austin joining us one more time as we get set to look forward to this game against the McMurray Warhawks up in Abilene Saturday at 1 o'clock. Coach, a history that goes back to 1930, the first time these two schools ever met, a 0-0 tie. McMurray with the 8-6-2 record overall before Southwestern disbanded the program. Not sure if you knew all that, but a pretty cool history between these two teams. But since the reinstatement as a Division III team, the Pirates have won 4 consecutive games against the Warhawks. The first win on the road, a 7-6 victory back in 2015. We tried
to duplicate the 0-0 tie, but we couldn't get it done.
Just couldn't. A little too much offense today. 37-6 victory last year over this team. You guys will come into the game 3-3, 2-3 in the conference. McMurray looking for their first win, but you said it earlier, they're playing better football.
They certainly are, and one of the ways that I study team, I study them a lot of different ways, but you watch things chronologically because teams change so much throughout the season. I mean, look at how much we've changed. We've run 4 different defenses and about 3 different offenses, so you have to contextualize all the raw video data that you get, and as you watch them chronologically, you can really see them come into their own. They've moved players around. They've found solutions to problems, but they've just gotten better at their skills and their techniques under their new coaching staff, and they're really starting to take to it. And they really gave one of the best teams in our league, East Texas Baptist, all they could handle on the road last week, and you know that's going to really have them excited. You could see their sideline was into it the whole game, and I've been on again coach teams that are on that verge, so I know the excitement they can build. So our focus has been since Sunday, we're going to go in and try to take that excitement from them as quickly in the game as possible.
So you mentioned going up there, and it's a few guys to really look out for. Who should we be paying attention to on their team? They've been growing, they're getting better. What position specifically do we need to be looking out for on the broadcast Saturday?
Well, it's all up to Jackson because they have 2 of the best split ends in the conference, not just Jackson, but Jackson knows. Ariel Dorsey is a 3-time all-conference player. And they also have a couple other complementing players that are really good. So a lot of their offense, because they're young up front, they've moved to a true freshman quarterback, is throwing the ball deep and taking some chances to those players, and they're really good at it. And they're very athletic. They can attack different segments of the field. So that'll be a big challenge. I think we'll do a pretty good job in their run game, although they have a talented running back. I think a lot of our focus and attention defensively is going to be around controlling number 1 and number 5, their 2 split ends.
What about offensively? How do you attack the game this week?
We're going to try to get back to what our identity that we'd like to have. We talked with Coleman. Coleman's feeling like he's getting a little bit better and can do a little bit more in the running game. J.J. Slack has come in and provided some spark in the running and the passing game. So we're trying to get away from the makeshift things that we had to do for about a month or so into running the offense that that we ran the first week and that we ran parts of the second week. And really, it's been since then that we've been really into the offense that we practice all spring and all fall and all summer. We're trying to get back to some of those things. We're anticipating continuing to get more healthy, potentially another quarterback coming onto the depth chart next week. And so we're trying to just build around what we have, but get back to who we are, the things we've recruited players to, the things that really fit their skill sets. That's what we're going to try to emphasize.
Yeah, J.J. Slack, he was listed as a wide receiver on that original 2-deep. You guys,
yeah, he's number 34.
What were your impressions of him, especially the last couple of weeks, taking snaps? I thought last week especially, he was pretty dynamic back there in the second half.
He's done a great job, and he started with small pieces of the pie, and he's expanded to where now he knows everything. And so he can play in any of our offensive packages, of which we've developed several, I guess, over the course of the season. And he's definitely provided a spark. Pretty raw at the quarterback position as far as having the ability for me to get into the skills of the position, but he's a fantastic athlete. His fastball is over 90 miles an hour when he plays baseball. He's a lefty, which can be difficult because people don't see that. So he's bringing a lot to the table for us. He also, despite being a guy that plays a lot of quarterback for us, still covers kickoffs, still covers punts, is on the hands team. He's just a really good athlete. And so he's filled in nicely, but he's more than a fill-in now. He's very good. He's very competent at what he's doing at quarterback. And who knows where he's going to fit long term, but he's definitely going to be a player that's going to have an impact on our football team.
How would you say your practices have been this week in preparation for McMurray?
They've been good. We've had, I think, 3 pretty good weeks in a row where guys are coming in and they're getting their work done. They're taking a fun but professional approach to it. And we've gotten better every week about just being on our tasks and being energetic to play. And I think when you talk to guys like Jackson and Coleman, it gives me confidence that this week won't be anything different. Our guys are going to come, ready to play and have energy and just give the best effort that we can give.
Love for you real quick to give the fans out there an insight. What's the routine like on a road game? Getting ready to go 3 hours north. When do you leave? What's the day like? How is it different from a home game?
Well, calling travel routine, I think, is the first mistake you made because they're all a little bit different. We have everything from day trips when we go to the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor or Texas Lutheran, their day trips where we'll even eat on campus because we can get to their campus so fast for pregame. And then you have things where you're going to Tennessee or going to Belhaven where you're going to have 9 to 12 hours of travel. So going to Abilene is I should say, I kind of teased you, but this is pretty routine for us. We're going to go there twice this year. We're going to stay in the same hotel. It's about 4 hours on the bus. Guys that have gone there know that there's one bathroom between here and there that the football team can go to. One gas station, I should say, where there's at least close to enough bathrooms that we're not there for an hour. So everybody knows where we're going to stop, and they know when we're going to stop and how those things will time. But one of the nice things is Abilene has 2 conference teams, and so you're there at least once a year. On this schedule rotation, we're there twice this year. But it's a pretty easy trip for us. 4 hours in Texas is around the block, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Going 4 hours anywhere is not a big deal. So our guys have it down. They really know what's expected. But we communicate with them. For example, today they were emailed the complete itinerary, the rooming list, all the times, what the uniform is, what the dress code is. They really have all the details down. So we're really not leaving anything to chance when we go.
Your final thoughts as we wrap up the show tonight and get ready for this game against McMurray Saturday. Your final thoughts not only on the game, but we talked a bit about practice this week. What would you like to leave the message with as we finish up the broadcast tonight?
Well, I'm excited to see our guys go play because we're getting back to, as we talked about, we're getting back to our offensive and defensive schemes that we wanted to be at the beginning of the season. We're not doing them with all the same players, but such as football, right? But I'm excited to go see us play more of the style of football that we'd like to play, and I really like how our team has been building their approach to playing and their desire to play. And I think the energy is going to be really good on Saturday. If we do that, I think we have a really great chance to have a fantastic game up at McMurray.
Coach Joe Austin, thank you so much for joining us
Thanks,
this
Brad.
week. We appreciate it. Thank you, everyone here, for coming to the broadcast tonight. We appreciate all of you and your support of Southwestern University football. And for everybody out watching the stream tonight as well, thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you along, and we hope to have you this Saturday for the broadcast as well. If you can't make it up to Abilene, we'll have every down for you right here on SHN Sports. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. We'll have the call for you. 1 o'clock kickoff, airtime 12:45 from Abilene, Texas, as your Southwestern Pirates look to get back in the win column and defeat the McMurray Warhawks. For head coach Joe Austin, I'm Brad Tillery saying good night, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again Saturday.
Hi, Mom.